y'all? What's going on? What is up? What is up? Can you hear us? Can you see us? We're in the house. Welcome to a love team. We're just going live. We're about to make sure everybody can see us. Now it says only streaming to Mika. I'm not really sure why. Oh, well, Mika changed it. All right. Well, perfect. So everybody should be able to see us live and clear. What's going on, everybody? We're live in Facebook. We're live in YouTube.
If you can see us, and especially if you can hear us.
Absolutely. And I'm making sure everything is set up on my end. I'm glad that we're back on the love team. I'm glad we're back on tonight, talking to the people about something that's near and dear to our heart, and that's getting your flirt game on. What's up, Eric? I see you in the house. There we go. I see Eric in the house. It looks like everybody couldn't see us, babe. We were on like lockdown from the public, but looks like Erica can see us, so I feel better about that. Erica, feel free to please share the live. We had some privacy issues going on, but it's about to go down. We're going to talk about our favorite topic, flirting and body language, on today. So welcome.
Well, I mean, I don't know what Rhea's about to get into, but the only thing that I probably want to say, and we could probably end this live right now, is these flirting techniques are dope. If you missed the last masterclass in April, you definitely missed one.
Oh
if you were there, then you got all the tea. But I want y'all, do we have the video? The testimonial video, do we have it?
I'll have it ready for tomorrow's live for sure. I'll have it ready for tomorrow's live. It's fantastic. I cannot believe the testimonial. It's actually wild.
We're trying to find the best place. No, so if we're gonna drop a link here later. And for those of you who are interested, you can go to the site and check out the link. But there's a phenomenal video that an attendee from the last Flirting Masterclass did. And she sent this not too long ago, saying 6 days after the class, she met someone and she recognized after the fact that she was using the techniques that were taught in the class and didn't even realize that she was using the techniques. And she used it, met this gentleman, and now they're going strong. So shout out to the Powermate Flirting and Body Language Masterclass. Not only do you come and get information, you come and get to put everything that you were learning in practice and get feedback, not only from us as your coaches, but from the other participants who are there as well. You go into your private rooms to be able to use those techniques. It is a ball, all right?
Well, can I pop your collar on behalf of her? Can I pop that collar, babe? It was that
Listen,
good. I'm talking about.
We can end this live right now.
How somebody get booed up a couple days after the Flirting Masterclass. What's up, y'all?
That's what happens when y'all miss out. The next one is coming May. The next one's coming up. I forget the date.
We're going to talk about all this stuff today because it's going down. Y'all have come here today because we're about to drop some gems on you about flirting and body language, right? Why don't somebody put in the chat if you want to hear about flirting and body language? Because I got some questions to ask you. We have some questions to ask you because, babe, if you're single, in a relationship, no matter what that status might be, flirting and body language and communication is always important. So it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, this is an important conversation to be had, right?
I mean, it's not only important because, when people think of flirting, they automatically think, oh my God, it's going to lead into something romantic or sexual or whatever. If flirting is really charisma in communication. Mm-hmm. Like, if you have charisma, like ultimate charisma, and you use that in your communication with anybody, it could be misconstrued as flirting if you don't know what you're doing. Like, there are some people, they have so much charisma, it is often mistaken for flirting. And they could they've gotten themselves into some real trouble by just being naturally charismatic, or some would class as naturally flirtatious.
You made me sweat when you said that. I probably was sweating anyway, but you made me sweat when you said that because you know what? When you just have all that charisma,
It's like swag.
like I have, right?
Sure,
You can tell the pheromones coming off my body. It's just glistening off me, all this charisma. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Meek, I don't need the cap. Actually, I don't need the cap. I don't need the cap.
Or some would say Riz.
Or Riz. That's what the kids say. The kids say Riz now. Like,
I don't know what that
all
is,
the other stuff doesn't. It's irrelevant now.
Every time
the
he
kids
says
say
it,
Riz.
I think about Cheese Whiz.
And that's not. Yes, that's all right, babe. Listen, that's all right. Listen,
if you know what Riz is, drop it in the chat.
We're not getting older. We're getting sexier. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Listen, can I hit these folks with a question, babe, real quick? Can we start off with a question? Here's a question we're going to ask you all real quick. Check it out on the bottom of the screen. Babe, you want to read this question to him?
Sure. How do you signal to someone that you're interested in them without coming on too strong or appearing desperate?
Oh, can somebody put that in the chat? That's our first question for the night. We got to get up in this flirting and body language conversation. And Mika told you before, somebody after our masterclass, literally a couple of days after the masterclass, all booed up. Like they booed up, and she used playful banter. So listen, we want to see what you're putting in the chat. What do you put in the chat? Mika, you might have to help us with the chat. What do you see? What do you put in the chat, folks?
If I see a comment come in, I'll go ahead and read it. But here's the thing. This is what I'm seeing in these single streets every single day, right? Like people, y'all, it is not that serious. It is not that difficult. I'm really trying to be on my best behavior and trying to be as nice as I possibly can. Because I see it all the time. And I had to tell someone this earlier. I had to tell a gentleman, like, bro, it's not that difficult. Like, every day I'm in these single streets. Every day I'm in these groups. Every day, like, I'm seeing it. And it's like, where my wife at? I can't find my wife. I'm trying to wife somebody.
How do you say it?
And I'm just like, you know that emoji where you just kind of like hand on the forehead, like, what on earth? So I feel like nowadays, and I know there's a lot of things that, sort of encompasses this, but I feel like nowadays singles want to be in a silo by themselves. And I'm not talking about a silo of singles. I'm talking about a silo where it's just them being single and they don't want to put any effort into being in a relationship or dating somebody. Or when somebody puts effort into trying to reach out to them, there's like flaws. They automatically, well, his profile picture don't look right. His face don't look right. His beard is jagged, or like whatever. Her eyebrow or her eyelash.
What they said, eyebrow?
Her eyelash is too much.
Some eyelashes do be too much.
I agree. But it just seems like there's always, looks like bats. It seems like the first thing that really comes to mind or whatever it is or comes up in conversation is what is wrong or what is too much. Y'all, if you are out here, especially, and I know we're across a few social media channels right now, but if you're out here and the energy that you're giving off, and even in real life too, but if the energy that you're giving off is negative or seems like you're complaining, that is, first of all, that is how to not signal to somebody anything at all, let alone being interested. So the first thing you want to do is really check your attitude or your mindset when it comes to singles, when it comes to your singleness, or when it comes to dating, period.
Absolutely.
Right? I saw earlier a comment yesterday. I don't know if you're gonna get to this reel about jumping into somebody's inbox. Really think about it as, if I don't know who you are and for some reason you see me out at an event and I don't know who you are, and especially if it's not a networking event. Actually, no. Here's another great analogy. If I'm at home, first of all, anybody that knows me knows you can't just come show up to my house like that. You got to call, text, do something first. Because if I hear that door knock and I know I'm not expecting anybody, chances are I'm not going to open my door because I'm not expecting anybody. And I don't have people that just randomly show up to my house. So it's either you're somebody who I do not want to talk to you, or you're doing some kind of foot campaign or something like that, which I don't really accept marketing calls at my door. So whatever, it is what it is, right? So to answer the question, how do you signal to someone that you're interested in them without coming on too strong? Start subtle. If you are on social media, you want to comment on something they posted or something they commented on, you want to like their post. Well, not just like, you want to love their posts a couple times, because then they'll get notifications. Hey, so-and-so liked your comment, so-and-so this, or from there, you mention them. Respond to them. Hey, so-and-so, great comment, great point, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So they see you, they become aware of you. So when you do try to approach them to express your interest, it doesn't come off like weird.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, me, you giving us some extra game real quick, and I appreciate that. Shout out to everybody who's watching us live on the replay. Mika's dropping some extra gems on us real quick, and we're going to talk about this. We want to see in the comment, if you're watching us live on the replay, we're going to come back and read your comments. Mika just gave you some good game right there. But that's the question, right? How do you do it without coming across looking desperate? And a lot of people are afraid to approach because they look desperate. They don't want to feel the rejection. So we want to see what you do. Mika said being subtle is a good way to go. She talked about some tips to do it in Facebook. As a matter of fact, when we met, Rio popped my collar. I responded to a message that was in a Facebook group to get at Mika, right? So I did it in public before we got into the inbox. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and just like our participant from the last class that had success, that was the exact technique that I used as well, was playful banter.
Absolutely.
So look at that.
It 100% works. But listen, that was just the opening question. Let's get to the game real quick. Here's the first piece of game for you real quick. We're going to drop these gems on you. You should be having a notebook if you're watching us live on the replay, and take these down. These are gems. Number one, start with a compliment. Are you kidding me? We're talking about how do you release some of the pressure when you do the approach? How do you handle that situation? We can talk about being subtle, loving their posts instead of liking their posts, getting out the inbox before you get in the inbox, right? Approaching it that way. Well, here's how we do it right here, right? Start with a compliment. Babe, real quick for the people that don't know, what's the difference between a compliment and a flirt?
So a compliment is really where you notice something on someone and you make that the subject. So I like your shirt, I like your hat, I like your glasses, whatever it is. A flirt, in essence, is where you make the other person the subject. So you make that look good, or that looks really good on you. That looks really good on your wrist. That looks really good on your finger. You make those shoes look good. Like, you are indicating to them that you are now seeing them beyond whatever that item is.
Can you give me a compliment?
Sure, Rio. You make that shirt look good. Why does he?
Why don't you hit me with a flirt one time? They hit him with the flirt so they know what a flirt looks like.
Why does he do?
They hit him with a flirt one time
so
they know. So you can give him a flirt versus a compliment.
Ooh, Lord, Rio, that necklace. That necklace on that shirt, that is a beautiful combination on you.
You like it?
Looks great.
Make you warm.
Being alive.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. My bad.
Like
they won't react.
That
My
would
bad.
legit be the end of that conversation.
We're married, folks. I'm sorry. We're married, folks. So we can do this stuff. We're married. But I love that. There's a difference between a compliment and a flirt. And if you're nervous about doing a flirt, or you feel like it might be a little bit too aggressive, a compliment is an outstanding way to start that conversation. So if you're watching it live, you're watching on the replay, put a 1 in the chat if you understand what we're talking about. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand the difference between a flirt and a compliment, because a compliment is a way that Mika said you can come in with some subtle, with a subtle word that'll get people interested in what you're talking about. I'm not sure if you saw my body language, but even with the compliment, it made me perk up. So it doesn't have to be aggressive. It can literally be a compliment. As a matter of fact, with our clients, with the folks who work, I can't call them, I hate saying clients, with our Powermates, we are teaching them the art of giving a compliment. So they have a challenge this week to compliment as many men or women as possible. Not flirt, compliment, because they're breaking down the walls of resistance and starting conversation. And you should see the transformation that is happening when we just give them all the tools they need to go about this the right way.
And even outside of giving compliments, if they're at a an elevated stage in their dating process, it now goes from turning it up from the compliments to expressing your appreciation for the other person, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's a phenomenal exercise that they're working on this week. And I can't wait to hear about the results when we meet again.
We already seeing some big results. So that's number one, right? Y'all like tip number one? Y'all like tip number one? Put I like it in the chat. I see a like it in the chat. I like it in the chat. We can start using this. I like it in the chat. I love it. I love it. We got a number two for you. Let's give you number two. Because we're going to run through these tips, y'all. In the masterclass, we'll have some more time to go through them in detail, practice them and all the things. Right now, we want to give you some game you'll be able to use tonight if you want to get your flirting right. Right? And that's if you're single, in a relationship, whatever. This stuff matters. Let's talk about body language. Let's start to utilize these skills now. Babe, what is body language?
So, body language, make eye contact, smile, and lean in slightly when you're talking to someone. I don't know if you all noticed when I was giving Rio that compliment, how I turned my body, I leaned into him, and it was almost like where my hand was. I wasn't resting my head on my hand, but it was giving that illusion, right? And I did that without even really, thinking about it or practicing it. And that's it. I'm one of those people who sometimes my charisma gets mistaken for flirting. So I really have to be careful.
It's your voice too, because you keep it kind of low. Like your voice when you talk, it gets low and slow, and like a bedroom voice. You got to be careful with that.
Yes.
You got to be careful. People get on the phone with me and don't hang up, and they get, you know what I mean? Like hang up the phone.
I told you this, Rio. I think when I had my first job, telemarketing, I actually got into a relationship with somebody who I met through like talking on the phone, and he purposely gave me the runaround the first couple of times that I called to get me to call him back the next day because he wanted to continue talking to me. And that was it. He said it was my voice, and then we kind of started dating after that.
Mika said that she almost got on a plane from Toronto the first day we started talking because of my voice. I don't know what you face like that. She said my voice was so sexy that she almost hopped on a plane that night. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, hold on. I know we them boys. You ain't got to get on the flight tonight, baby girl. Like, it's all good. We're going to meet. We're going to link. You know what I mean? It's like to calm her down. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But when we talk about, I love the point you made. When I talk about body language, when I talk about eye contact, when I talk about doing these things, it like the unspoken word means so much. And they're like, well, Rio, we're on virtual now. How do I do that? We have people that go on virtual dates all the time, right? Even post-pandemic. And the body language, the smiles, even the eye contact to the camera, how you're posturing yourself goes a long way to show your interest level. And a lot of times when we're out, we're not doing the things we should do to show that we're interested or that we're single or even that we're confident. We have our heads down. We're slouchy. We don't look like we are single and ready like we say we are. And so we have to work on that body language part. And this is a huge part. Mickey, you said something too that I really like. And you did something with your hand. And that subtle feminine body language turns a man on, lets me know that you're approachable. Being open to me, looking at me and smiling at me lets me know that it's okay to approach.
Especially ladies, if you can do something, with your hair.
Not the hair.
Oftentimes we have.
Sorry. Forgive me. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. I do that sometimes. My bad, y'all. My bad.
Oftentimes we might have, a side bang or like a middle part or whatever, or like the long weave, the lace front, whatever it is, or even like your braids, right? And you kind of play with it a little bit. If you kind of, tilt or lean into him a little bit or her, whatever, lean into your subject a little bit, and you kind of play, especially if you kind of stick your chest out and put your shoulders back, tilt your head to the side a little bit. That in conversation, don't be surprised if they're not able to continue or hold a conversation. We were out last week. We went to go celebrate a friend's birthday, and we saw.
Oh yeah.
That's what we could do. We could share it in the new group.
Yeah.
We saw the perfect example of in-person flirt and body language being demonstrated by someone, and he didn't even recognize that he was demonstrating. It was perfect. It was literally perfect.
And even the slight touch, right? Now, we're not telling you to go to work and start touching on somebody. That ain't what Rio and Mika said. That we didn't co-sign that. HR don't call
Use
us.
common sense.
HR don't call us. But even when you're in, like, a thing that got me is when I would lean in and talk to a lady. And fellas, y'all might know this. Fellas, a man told us in the last class, brothers, we need to know how to flirt too. He said, man, Rio, we need to learn how to flirt. And you're right, brother. So listen, here's something that really works well is even the hand, a slight touch on the back, either the lower back, right there on the back, and lean in when you're talking, right? Really works out, especially somewhere like a bar or a club or somewhere where it's loud. You definitely want to make a slight, not something that's aggressive, but a slight hand contact. Why? Because it shows them that you're okay with physical contact. And if they're okay with slight physical contact, it automatically makes them a little more open to conversation.
But you want to be careful. You
Slight.
want to be careful because not everyone is open to any type of physical touch, especially from a stranger. So if you are receiving signals that this person is flirting, especially if they start off by maybe touching your hand, like, so for example, you're sitting at the bar and you're talking, whatever it is. Oh my God, that's so funny. And they kind of lay their hand on your shoulder, or if your hands are on the bar itself and they kind of lay their hand like that on the bar, especially if you're sitting at the bar. Oh my God, you're so funny. And then they kind of tap you on the leg.
Uh-oh.
That is an open invitation that I'm okay with physical touch. Because some people, physical touch, like, it absolutely freaks them out. And that definitely is not something that you want to do when you want to send a signal that you are interested in somebody. Or at least get permission, right, from the other person. Or talk about physical touch, depending on what you're talking about at the bar. Maybe that conversation could get into physical touch, and then you can kind of gauge their level of comfortability with physical touch, especially from a stranger.
100%. And when we get into the master class, we're going to talk about, like, when do I actually initiate physical touch? Like, Tamika's point, even the first conversation may not be the time, but there is a time. And so as you go further into the conversation, what does that look like? And even if it isn't physical touch, the body language in general is so important. Sometimes even more important than the words you say, the body language is absolutely
you can
essential.
have a whole conversation with, body language and really just banter without using too many words.
I did a lot of sexy dancing. I'm something like Genuine, and I did a lot of that. I did a lot of that dancing back in the day, babe. And so I know that was something that couldn't keep
did y'all see the video with Genuine?
I couldn't keep the I did see the one where he fell off the stage. Damn.
Stop telling people you dance like Genuine, Rio.
I know, but it's better stop. I'm talking back in the early 2000s, Genuine.
Like he literally falls like
Mika, why you capping? Wow. I do fall sometimes.
I'm not.
Shout out to Genuine for falling sometimes, brother. We fall down, but we get up. Question for y'all real quick. And put this in the chat real quick. Have you ever struggled to maintain eye contact when flirting with someone you're interested or attracted to? Have you ever had that? Put a yes or no in the chat, watching live on the replay. That's a yes or no question. Have you ever struggled to maintain eye contact with somebody you're interested in, which is a huge thing? You say yes, babe?
Yes.
You start
Because
shaking
I'm
a
shy.
little bit. You start shaking a little bit.
I start shaking.
Yeah, you start shaking. Like, you all right? Like you had some coffee or something. Why are you so calm? Anyway, I digress. You know what I mean? I digress. Yeah, sometimes Mika looks at you. Like, what the hell?
First of all, Bill's trying to get me back. He's trying to get me back because I told him he falls like Genuine. Like, it's the truth.
It's okay to fall like Genuine, baby.
You can't get me back. No, I do it because I'm shy, and I haven't always been. I had to practice a lot using eye contact when communicating with somebody, especially if it's somebody that I had a crush on. Ooh, you will not get me to look at you at all. But this is when I was younger. I did a lot of work, a lot of self growth, a lot of self growth. Addressed a lot of things which made me think that I was a shy person, especially as a grown woman. But yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm good with that. I'm good.
Babe, you're listen. Eye contact's a big deal. I see you in the chat, Erica. Yeah, eye contact's a big deal. So that's something we're gonna practice in the master class. Y'all got to be a part of it, right? So
And when we say practice, y'all, we legit mean we teach you the techniques. We go through it. You take your notes. You do all the things, and then you go into a breakout room. The last master class, we had an even number of men and women. You go into these breakout rooms so you can actually practice what it is that you're learning, right? And then you're able to receive feedback on how you did so you can actually improve.
It's about improving, babe. You know, this is the last one before we move on. Check it out, babe. We teach people how to do this all the time. I'm probably, now that I'm on the spot on live, I'm probably not gonna do it as sexy as we teach the ladies to do it, but here we go.
That?
Take the glasses off smooth. You know what I mean? Now the ladies, she said, what is that? Now the ladies sometimes they'll go.
Exactly.
They'll bite
and lean your head.
And talk in, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so even with glasses, like use them to your advantage. Eye contact's a deal. You can be flirtatious even with glasses on. You know what I mean? All right, cool. Let's go to the next one, y'all. Let's go to the next one real quick. Number 3. Here's this one right here. Find common ground. So find common ground. What's common ground, right? How do I express common ground? Let's give you a quick example, right? We'll run through this quick. Let's say I'm in a coffee shop. What are some common ground I can find with somebody I'm interested in while I'm inside a coffee shop? Babe, you want to take a stab at that? What's some common things I might find in a coffee shop?
Sure. How do you take your coffee?
Okay.
Is this your first time here?
Okay. Get them.
What blend do you normally use?
Get them.
Or do you normally get, rather? Have you tried, I don't know, look up on the board, and if they have some kind of special or some kind of blend or whatever it is that they're highlighting, have you tried the new blend? How is it? Right? Do you come here? Oh, I think I said that already. Do you come here often?
Can I give them a playful banter one?
Sure.
I bet your coffee isn't as good as mine. Why do you have that big cup of coffee? Are you that sleepy? Like, do you come here all the time, or were you just stalking me? Like, there's a whole bunch of ways to do. There's a lot of ways to go about flirtation. That's not aggressive. That's not like, oh my God, cringy. That makes somebody want to laugh. But common ground helps us break down walls and barriers. It happens in friendships, business.
I have another one. You see them sitting at a table by themselves, and you go over and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I heard you calling me to keep your company."
Oh, man, that's how you get them?
I mean,
get them. That's all right.
If you're bold, like if you want to be a super advanced student,
I take my coffee bold. You know what I mean? I take my coffee bold.
We're that stupid.
I know it is. It's all good. But these are ways, right? Finding common ground. So we had a question for you all. So we talked about common ground. We got a question for you. Give us some examples of the things you found that you're interested in or what you want to learn more about. Put those in the chat. Watch it live, watch on the replay. This is going to help you out a lot. Like, put some examples of what you're interested in or what you're interested in knowing more about. Why is this important? Why is this important? Well, here's one. If you're talking about common ground, it's really interesting to be interested in something that you can talk in length about or in depth about. And so part of that conversation being flirtatious is you could be talking about something and I may not be the expert, but you talking about it is turning me on. You being excited about it is turning me on. And sometimes we need to be like interested in not only things that we like, but be curious about other things. It'll dictate the type of groups I go to, the events I go to, and where I show up and how I position myself to flirt and have conversation. So these are all important things. So put inside the chat, if you're watching live or in the replay, put in the chat those things you're interested in or the things that you want to know more about. This will help you out a lot when it comes to flirting. And when it comes to the masterclass, we're actually going to teach you how to use these two elements to be a master in starting conversations. So you want to be a part of that class.
And speaking of the masterclass, I'm actually grabbing the link right now.
I got the link for you here, babe.
Make sure it's the right one.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm popping up for y'all real quick while we talk.
Let me make sure it's the right one.
Man, listen, I'm on.
Well, I'm going to drop it on Facebook anyway.
She'll drop it on Facebook
in the comment.
But yo, we on right now. I just want y'all to know that. If y'all in the comments, y'all know. Fellas, y'all know how it is. Listen,
I gotta make sure.
Listen, when you're married, this is how it goes. Just I handle that with care. I was like, oh man, listen, this right here.
Whatever.
Listen, y'all can learn something today. I had to learn this. This takes practice, y'all. This takes time. All right. So yeah, so make sure you put those in the chat. Okay, let's go to the next one, y'all. I want to get you to this one real quick. Playful teasing is another big one. We've dropped some really good ones on y'all real quick. This shouldn't even be for free, but we're gonna do this live because we love y'all, right? Let's give you another one. Playful teasing, right? Create fun and flirty atmosphere, right? But you got to make sure you keep it light and keep it in good taste. We were talking about that in a coffee shop, but it works in every scenario. We just talked about a success story from the last masterclass where she used this technique, which we call playful banter, in order to attract the right man for her. And she said one of the revelations she had is that sometimes she feels that she came across a little rigid. Sometimes when she came across, it wasn't as playful or as light as it should be. So ladies and gentlemen, if you find yourself being a little rigid, or when you ask questions, it seems like you're interrogating, things of that sort, this is something that will change your life. And if you're already funny and witty, you have to use this one.
And also, another thing that I love about what she said about the class was that there were things that she learned that she didn't even know she needed to know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're going out, you're, out here doing whatever you're doing, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, ooh, I got this. Somebody said to me the other day, this is something I do naturally, talking about being in relationships. This is something I do naturally. I didn't even think I had to learn how to do that. Well, obviously, because you're still single and you were up in age, I'm not going to out nobody.
Uh-oh.
Sir, ma'am, it is time to do something different. You cannot be sitting around doing the same old, and then you're sitting there getting frustrated. Oh no, it's not working. Oh no, there's no good. Listen, I'm about to drop something on y'all tomorrow. I have been, okay, I'm gonna let you guys into my house a little bit, right? When I am working, I like to have the TV on for background noise. All right. So I generally tend to put on something that intrigues me. So it usually is Law and Order, okay? Maybe somewhere in my mind, I'm some type of a detective or a lawyer or something. That is my background.
But now you're on the other show now, though.
But since a few days ago, I went back and started watching seasons of Married at First Sight, right? And one of the things that I realized with Married at First Sight is I started watching, I think it was season 13 from the very beginning, right? That's back in like 2020, 2021. And they had, I think that particular season, they had maybe close to like 20,000 people. I forget the exact number, but a lot of people that applied for the show. They're on their 16th, about to go into their 17th season, y'all. Oh no, it was 6,500 people that season, because it was held here in Houston. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you is for those who are complaining, and it legit is a complaint. There's no good men, there's no good women. I can't find anybody that wants to commit. Y'all, one TV show, since it started, and it's now on its 16th season, has had over 80,000 applications.
80,000.
Over 80,000 applications. What that tells me is that is minimum. And those are the people that have applied for the show. What about the ones who are ready for commitment that don't even know about the show? They don't even know about the application. So what I'm sharing with you is that there are minimum at least 80,000 people in the United States alone that could qualify, because you got to go through certain qualifiers to even apply, right? There are over 80,000 people in the United States that raised their hand and said, yes, not only am I ready for commitment, but I'm ready to get married to somebody sight unseen. The first day I'll meet them is the day we get married. That is a very unique group of people. And I share that with you to really send a message home that, y'all, you need to stop. Stop with the complaining. Stop saying there's no this for me, there's no that for me, this is why I haven't gotten results. No, it's all up here. You are telling yourself that. That is not the truth. That is not reality. And the day that you stop telling yourself that and you start to get into groups and communities and environment where these people reside is the day that you will see your results change in your dating life. There's so much that we're going to drop on you all this week. There's so much. I'll give you all a precursor before we go. We are on the tail end of what was declared as the last epidemic, right? COVID-19. A few days ago, the Surgeon General came out and declared the next epidemic, and that's loneliness. We won't get into it tonight, but if you are watching this live or on the replay, go look that up and take that in. As you're there getting ready to go to bed, and you were by yourself and you have those same thoughts that you no longer desire to be lonely, and you were tired of praying that same prayer, God, where is my husband? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the magnitude of the effects that COVID-19 posed on us, not only as a nation, but globally. That was the last known epidemic or pandemic rather that we came out of. Now another epidemic has been declared, and that is loneliness, or the effects rather of loneliness. But we'll touch on that with y'all later on this week.
It's a serious deal. It's a serious deal. I'm glad you brought that up. And we're going to bring that up. We're going to talk about this because we care about everybody. If you're single and feel alone, some people in relationships and feel alone. Damn. So we care about you. We realize what it can have the effects on the body. So this is the playful banter, and I'm glad you brought those things up. So we're going to touch on those.
Oh, we're still going. All right. I thought we were done.
Here is the last tip that we have for y'all based on that last piece of game, baby. You know we dropped some stuff on them tonight. Here's the last tip we have for them, right? It's this. You have to use playful teasing with caution, right? Because too much of that can really give the wrong impression. Mm-hmm. You know, some people are playful, and they're playful they're too playful, and sometimes they're playful at the wrong times.
And it could be a turnoff.
Yeah, in conversation, as you get to know somebody, you have to know and have a barometer of when it's time to play and when it's not. And when it's time to get serious, when it's really time to break down walls, when it's really time to get in the conversation, now is not the time to be and everything is playing, because now
just super silly all the time.
Absolutely, because now what you're doing is you're actually you could be lowering your value in the eyes of that potential person you want to date, because you seem like you're either too nonchalant about whatever's happening, or you have nothing that's productive to say. So you also have to have depth of conversation. So use that with caution when you talk about playful banter and playful teasing, but it is a fantastic way to build attraction to somebody you're interested in, right? Y'all saw down below, like, the masterclass, right? Y'all saw the link for the masterclass. Tomorrow when we come on, we're gonna drop two things, babe. Can we drop two things? Mm-hmm. We're gonna drop a video for y'all of the testimonial, which is absolutely fire. Like, you gotta be here for that. So if you're watching live, you're watching the replay, I'm not sure how you're gonna be able to see our videos live every time, but let me tell you how you're gonna do it. Go to Rio and Mika's page on Facebook. Go follow us on YouTube at Powermate Love.
YouTube's probably the best way.
Absolutely. She can watch us go live. We'll be dropping a lot of gems. Make sure you invite a friend or 2 or 3 or 5. And definitely, I can point the scroll thing. Definitely bring your ass and be at the flirting masterclass because it's gonna change your life. Just like it changed
share
your
it with
lady's life.
with the friend that who you know needs to be there. Like,
Period.
For real, like they ain't got.
Say period with the T at the end, baby.
Period.
That was a D. But yes, I definitely hear what you're saying.
I said T.
You said period with a D.
No, I said T.
Do it one more time. Say the whole thing together.
Period.
All right, there you go. All
Like,
right,
geez,
all right, there you go.
Rio.
All right. Let's get it with the sassy. Y'all, it's been fantastic.
Anyways.
It's been absolutely fantastic. Like, we want to come in here, drop some gems on y'all real quick. Welcome to the Love Team. People love, ask the question in Clubhouse before we get out of here. We used to be on Clubhouse all the time. So if you're one of our Clubhouse family, you used to follow us on Clubhouse, join us in the conversation on Clubhouse, join us here too. And we got some fantastic news coming up real soon on how we can stay clicked up in community, because that's what we need. So we're excited about that. But make sure you join us here on the Love Team, and make sure you here tomorrow as we go live, and check your Facebook.
Keep an eye out for that live notification, y'all.
This has been a fantastic live. Good live. So thank y'all so much for joining in. We'll be on tomorrow.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing.
Period.
Don't do that.
I can't even do it right. I can't even do it right. All right, y'all. Have a good night.